I forgot what I was gonna say.
Hello! My name is Damia, and I am so scared. I'm terrified of being perceived by anyone, and so my choices have been interesting recently. I'm not sure why I am so determined to put myself on the internet for people to assess me and my taste and, see me, look at me. But here I am, and I'm actually very excited. I'm really excited. I'm excited to join this community. I've been on BookTube, watching videos, consuming content for years, and loved it, and always kind of wanted to participate, but have always been a little bit too nervous or had other reasons to put it off. But I'm here now, and I'm really excited. I spent a long time yesterday trying to write and then film an introduction. I honestly just want to start talking about books. So no big introduction. We'll get to know each other over time, I'm sure. But for now, let's talk about books. So today I'm going to be doing a TBR. I kind of want to feel out over time the frequency in which I want to post TBRs, but right now I'm going to be following in the footsteps of Lexi, a queen. I've never edited a video before, but I'm trying to do the little thing where a little box pops up on top of my hand and it has her face. So for the next 3 to 6 months, these are going to be 10 to 15 books that I want to get through. So if you want to read along with me, we can do that together, or I can just give you another opinion on a lot of books that everyone else has read and had opinions on. I have a fear that if people are going to be like, why are you just reading the same books? But everyone reads the same books, so it's fine. I will probably read another amount of books depending on my mental health. I'm gonna split this into 2 stages, really. It's gonna be books that I physically want to read, which, disclaimer, when I say I'm physically reading a book, 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna be a physical book like these guys, because I need the open dyslexic font in order to read enough that I can actually create content with it. Most of my physical TBR, the books that I plan on reading, are gonna be on my iPad. I just hit myself in the face with it. Are gonna be on my iPad. They're gonna be on my iPad. And then the rest of my TBR, generally it's gonna be, 3 to 5 books. I'm gonna do audiobooks. I love a good audiobook. We can debate in the comments if you want whether that's reading or not. I think it is. Moving on. I will be sharing the platform in which I am obtaining my books. I personally am trying to get away from the Kindle Amazon ecosystem. The majority of the books that I buy are going to be coming from Kobo or bookshop.org. Sometimes I will let you know when I bought something from Kindle that I could only buy from Kindle, and otherwise I will be trying to find alternate methods. My audiobooks are going to be coming from Libro FM or Libby. Simple. I believe in you. Yes! Look at this dog. You're so cute. Say hello. Say hello. Jumping into my TBR. Let's go. The first book I'm going to be reading this season is These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. What I know about it as of right now is that it is a young adult fantasy romance. It's been compared to ACOTAR and Cruel Prince, which doesn't really help me at all because I read Cruel Prince years ago via audiobook, and I remember none of that book. I remember that I loved it, but I remember none of the plot. And so I need to go back and reread Cruel Prince, and I definitely read ACOTAR. This could be a red flag. That's all I'm saying. Could be a red flag, could be great, I don't know. That tells me nothing. Also, positive though, the cover has 2 male love interests, I believe. That's what I think they are. Hopefully one of them isn't her brother. But I do think it includes a love triangle, and one of the male love interests has whitish silver hair, and yeah, I'm game. That's one of those little things that for some reason just get me. What does Storygraph have to say about it? So the rating on Storygraph is 3.92 stars. It is 448 pages long, so it's a little bit of a tome. And it's the first book in a series. Is the series completed? Well, the second book is out. Looking at the cover of the second book feels like a spoiler, but it is what it is. The description on here is from the New York Times bestselling author Lexi Ryan, Cruel Prince meets A Court of Thorns and Roses. in this sexy, action-packed fantasy about a girl who is caught between two treacherous fairy courts and their dangerously seductive princes. And then there's a really long... The description's really long, and I'm afraid it's gonna give spoilers. So I'm gonna just leave it at that and not read the rest. Hopefully she falls for the guy with the white hair. We'll see. Hopefully he's not the worst. I don't know much about this book. I haven't heard a ton about it on Book Talk or BookTube, probably because it was published in 2001, so I'm late to the game on this one. But the cover really intrigued me. We'll see if it's any good. Would you like to come out, mister? Would you like to come out here? Okay, so the next book I'm wanting to read is Paladin's Strength by T. Kingfisher. And a few things going into this to know. One, I read Paladin's Grace. That's going to be, these videos are going to be a little mixed up, but that review is going to be in my next video. I liked it enough to read the next book. One thing to know about me, if T. Kingfisher has no fans, I'm dead. I love T. Kingfisher. I've read Swordheart, The Clockwork Boys, now Paladin's Grace. I think that's it. I thoroughly enjoyed them all. I think they're fun. I love that her main characters have a tendency to be grown women. I enjoy Tinkin. I really enjoy T. Kingfisher. I said her name right. There's about 20 cuts of me saying T. Kingfisher. For some reason, I can't say T. Kingfisher out loud, which is unfortunate because I'm going to be reviewing many of her books in the future. I bought this from Kobo because it is the only one of the Saint of Steel books that is not included in Kobo Plus. And for a future video, hint hint, cough cough, I'm going to be doing Kobo Plus books and reviewing just Kobo Plus books. And so I want to be ready to do that. I'm really excited to get into Istvan's story. I think that they're not standalones. I think this comes after Paladin's Grace. It doesn't seem like it gives away any spoilers from the first book. So I'm going to read the description. He's a paladin of a dead god, tracking a supernatural killer across the continent. She's a nun from a secretive order on the trail of the raiders who burned her convent and kidnapped her sisters. When their paths cross at the point of a sword, Istvan and Clara will be pitched headlong into each other's quests, facing off against enemies both living and dead. But Clara has a secret that could jeopardize the growing trust between them, a secret that will lead them to the gladiatorial pits of a corrupt city and beyond. That sounds like so much fun. I'm really excited to read Istvan's point of view. I'm really excited to get into Istvan's story because I loved him in Paladin's Grace. I thought he was so funny and so cute, and I love how he just like meddled with his best friend's relationship because it was fun. And he wanted the best for his friend. And so I like him, and I'm excited to read his point of view. So I'm excited for this one. It is 498 pages long. I always imagine T. Kingfisher's books as being like short, sweet little reads. And every time I pull them up, I'm just like, ooh, that's gonna be long. But that's okay.
Okay, hello. So this is actually like 3 or 4 days later. I filmed the entire video already, and then what you've seen before this was just what I didn't cut, because when I went back to edit, I realized that my brain just completely stopped functioning. And so it was just a mess, and the lighting had gotten really weird and everything had gotten really blurry. So I just decided to refilm it. But in that weekend also 5 of my Libby holds just decided to come through. So I need to get this video filmed now so that I can get to reading and reading and reading, because I need to get through this TBR. So let's get started. The next book that I want to read is going to be This Is How You Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone and Amal El-Motar. This is the first of a lot of books that you're going to notice I should have already read, but unfortunately my eyeballs are broken, and for the last 5 to 6 years I have been consuming exclusively audiobooks. So I have a lot of catching up to do, and this is one of the first of those that I'm like, I really want to catch up, but I have been living under a rock. So we're catching up. We're reading them now. From what I've heard on the internet, because this book is really big on both Book Talk and BookTube, this is a really wonderful love story told from 2 perspectives of 2 people in different time, space, situations on the opposite sides of a war, written by 2 authors who write each respective perspective. If anyone on the internet is right, this book is a masterpiece that is also going to break my heart. So I'm super excited. I don't want to go over the synopsis for this one. There's a few on here that I'd like to go in, not blind, because I have context, but as blind as possible. And so that's where I'm going to leave that. The page count is 208 pages, and the storygraph rating is 4.01. So all in all, sounds super promising. I'm really excited to read this book. Okay, so the next book is going to be my first Emily Henry book. I'm going to be reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Everyone and their mom loves Emily Henry, so I'm really excited to get into it. This is actually part of a deep foray that I'm doing into contemporary romance. I haven't really read a lot of contemporary romance until the beginning of this year, around Christmas time. I really, for some reason, was in the mood to read Christmas romance novels. I was going back to Oregon to visit my family, and I really wanted some escapism, so I picked up Christmas romance novels, specifically Catherine Walsh's Christmas novels, which were really good. From what I understand of this, it's like a girl boss literary agent goes on a trip with her sister for some kind of sister getaway. And she keeps running into her rival, who both of them, their whole life is about books. Oh my gosh, they have so much in common. Is it love? We'll see. This just looks like a good time. This looks like it'll be cute or it won't. It's really dependent on whether or not I like Emily Henry's writing style. Otherwise, the premise sounds super cute. I feel like her sister's name being Libby feels super on the nose for a woman who is also a literary agent. Just her whole life is books. That's fun. I like that. And so we'll see how I like it. Reading information, I'm going to be reading this on Libby. The page count is 377 pages, and it has a storygraph rating of 4.22. Okay, so another book that indeed proves that I have been living under a rock. This next book is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, and I think that this is the book that I'm the most excited to read out of everything. I was a big fan of Shadowhunters when I was a kid. Let that tell you what it needs to tell you about me. When I read the synopsis, I was like, this sounds like it incorporates the facets of demon hunting and secret society that I liked in Shadowhunters, but does it probably better. So I'm really interested to get into it. Like I said, living under a rock, haven't read this yet, but everyone says that this book is going to change my life, and I actually believe them. The information that I have gained from just being on the internet about this book is that this is about a girl who is in high school, but for some reason she's at a college. I think it's like one of those programs like dual enrollment maybe. Well, at this college she witnesses a demon attack, and when the demon hunters are unable to wipe her memory, she finds out about this secret society that is tied to Arthurian legend, and that her mom's death is both suspicious and probably part of this secret world. Like I said, this premise does remind me of Shadowhunters if Shadowhunters was more nuanced and less Shadowhunters, But I love a good secret society in a book, and I'm convinced that this book is going to change my life. So I'm super excited about it. I plan on reading this on Libby, but because the third book just recently came out, I don't know if I'm going to get it soon enough, so I might buy it on Kobo. We'll find out. It is 501 pages long, and it has a storygraph rating of 4.43. I'm really excited to be a part of the moment on this one. Next book is going to be The Dragon's Promise by Elizabeth Lim. Since this is the follow-up to Six Crimson Cranes, I don't want to go over the synopsis or the storyline of the second book at all, because I don't want to give you any spoilers. I definitely think that you should read Six Crimson Cranes. I will give you my review in my next video, but I liked it enough that I want to continue the series. Six Crimson Cranes is about a girl named Shiori, who is the only daughter of the emperor in this fictional land. And her brothers are cursed by her stepmother, and this curse makes it so that she can't be identified as who she is, and she cannot speak. And her brothers are turned into Six Crimson Cranes. And you follow her as she works to release herself and her brothers from this curse, while she has like this little romance subplot that is really cute, and definitely not the main part of the story, but very cute. And that's all I'm going to say, because I am going to actually review it in my next video, so watch out for that. I'm going to be reading it on Libby. It's a 496 page book, and it's got a storygraph rating of 3.75, which is a little bit lower, I believe, than Six Crimson Cranes. So, we'll see. We'll see if it's good. I'm a little nervous that it's not going to be as good, but I am excited to continue in the story. The next book that I want to read is another contemporary romance. It's going to be Actor Age Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. I'm really excited to read this one. I'm interested in it the same way I'm interested in Emily Henry, trying to get into more contemporary romance. From what I know, I think that this book is supposed to be a grumpy sunshine. I think it's supposed to have some really good autism representation. And I know that the FMC hits the MMC with her car, and I don't need to know anything else. That's it. I'm in. I'm game. Hit it with your car. I know that this isn't the first book in the Brown Sisters timeline, but this is the one that most intrigued me. And so I kind of want to like have this get me into that story. I'm pretty sure that they all read as standalones. If not, I'll suffer. It is what it is. I did purchase this one from Kobo. It is a 400-page book. Looks like exactly a 400-page book. And the story graph rating is 4.19. So I'm really looking forward to this one. This one sounds like it's just going to be like a sweet little treat. Speaking of sweet little treats, this next book is like neck and neck with Legendborn as the book that I'm most excited about on this list because I've heard about it for so long and I don't know. I can't tell you why I haven't picked it up yet. But it's Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. And after reading the synopsis of this book, I'm convinced that it was made in a lab to appeal to me. And I am so pumped. What I know is that this is the story of a girl who is cursed to only feel half of the emotional spectrum that everyone else feels. And she's going into, I think, the London season with her cousin and trying not to stir up any trouble. But it looks like she stirs up trouble anyways. And it's marketed as Pride and Prejudice meets Cruel Prince. Pride and Prejudice is one of my favorite stories. I love the movies, I love the book. It's my comfort story. Like when I'm sad, I go and watch Pride and Prejudice. And I know that I liked Cruel Prince. I've got to with everything that I'm enjoying being referred back to Cruel Prince, I really need to go reread it like today, but I'm not going to. I think I'll probably do a video on that at some point. But, you know, just like half the other girlies on the internet, I love Pride and Prejudice, I love fairy tales, and I love love. I love romance. And so I'm super excited for this book. It's not super long. It's 254 pages, and it's got a story graph rating of 4.14. I will be reading this on the Kindle app because I purchased it before I decided to leave the Amazon ecosystem. If I were buying it now, I would be buying it on Kobo, but, you know, for transparency's sake, I did buy this on Kindle. Moving on. So, generally, audiobooks are where you're going to find my nonfiction TBR. This is where I want to learn things. I am intentionally only giving myself 2 audiobooks to get through this season because I want to catch up on a few podcasts, Critical Role, Dimension 20, and Midst. So, full disclosure, I have already started this one. I'm reading currently Careless People, a cautionary tale of power, greed, and lost idealism by Sarah Wynne Williams. This is a memoir by a former Facebook Meta executive that was either in charge of or had a big part in international policy. And it goes into and kind of exposes Facebook's unethical practices, especially around how it is used as a political tool. And it goes into the culture inside of the company. But I don't want to go into it much more than that because I am already like 80% through it. I'm listening to this audiobook via Libby. It has a playtime of 13 hours, but if you were going to read it, it's 382 pages. And it has a story graph rating of 4.3. The last book on my TBR is Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. I was never super a John Green girly. I was in that generation and I did read The Fault in Our Stars. And I remember enjoying it and also being very sad while reading it. And that's about it, but I don't think I've read anything. No. I also read Looking for Alaska. And I didn't get it. I remember very clearly reading that book and being like, I don't get it, and then never reading it again. So I think that if I went back and read it, I might enjoy it. But it does have, I remember really clearly that it has the SunTrust building, and them getting to the top of the SunTrust building and looking over Orlando. And as someone who went to high school and lives currently in Orlando, has lived in Orlando for like 15 years, that's insane to me. I'm like, how did you get up that high? How did you do that? It always throws me off. That's like all I've read of John Green, all of the John Green content I've consumed. But I did work in a hospital laboratory for 6 years as a lab assistant, and tuberculosis is definitely a topic that I am interested in. From what I know about it, this is him detailing the history of tuberculosis in human society, and that's all I know. I should read the synopsis for this one. Tuberculosis has been intertwined with humanity for millennia. Once romanticized as a malady of poets, today tuberculosis is a disease of poverty that walks the trails of injustice and inequity we blazed for it. Huh. I'm really interested in this one. I think that maybe I wouldn't have heard about it if John Green didn't write it, but if anyone wrote it, I would be interested in reading it. So if you guys have any recommendations of interesting books about popular diseases or interesting books about the spread of disease, anything like that, I would love to hear those recommendations. That's just a little special interest I have on the side. So let me know. I did purchase this one on Libro FM. It has a playtime of 5 hours and 35 minutes, but if you are reading it, it'll be 198 pages. And it has a story graph rating of 4.64. Okay, I did it. I filmed an entire YouTube video, and now I'm gonna go edit an entire YouTube video. But if you are still here, thank you so much for being here. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I think that this was probably really rambly and confusing, and hopefully as I go, I'll be able to structure it a little bit better in a more concise way. But right now, just like thank you for being here. A like or a subscribe would be huge to me, but I'm just happy to have people watch it right now. So thank you again, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video.